innocent smoothies. So I regularly have a look at their social media because they are blimmin' fantastic. They're so good, and there's something that any business can learn from. So today I'm going to look at, I guess, the different tactics that they use on social media and how you might get some sort of insights and some ideas on what you might be able to do with them as well. So this is what we're going to cover today. So we're going to look at how Innocent can use humour to drive engagement. We're going to look at collaborations and how they come in all shapes and sizes and not quite the way that you would normally look at them. We're going to look at putting your team on the forefront and how that can drive engagement. National days and how you can use it. Challenges that can be as fun as full competitions, and know your audience and speak to their pain points. Remember, you can prioritise your channels by learning from what your competitors are doing. And this is one little example of the Navy dashboards on here. If I was to look at, say, Innocent, for example, I can compare my stats on the left with, say, Innocent, or you could look at, it could be Innocent comparing themselves to another smoothie brand, for example, or a protein drink or something like that, and they can start to understand what's working. So they can see where they rank, they can see the number of followers that they've got, they can see the number of posts in the weekly change on that. And basically by comparing, it helps you prioritize what you should be doing on what you should be doing where and why, I guess, and helps you understand more about how social media is actually working for you. Because remember, 79.1% of consumers in the UK spend over an hour a day on social media, and only 19% of businesses have active social media accounts. So that is a staggering stat that I use every week, and it drives me nuts because I don't understand it. Because if that's where people are, let's go to where people are. So that's what we're doing here at Maybe. We're trying to help you guys get stronger at social, because we help over 25,000 businesses get more out of social media, because we help you guys compare your social media performance with any other business. We help you guys use the social media tools and insights you need to use social media effectively, and you get access to amazing resources. You get access to the likes of us, where we do training every day, but you also get access to things like you know, how to do a reel, how to do your Google business profile, that kind of thing. It's all on the training hub. Now we're going to get cracking because we've got loads to go through today. So this one, and again, the reason why I'm talking about Innocent today, so it's nothing really to do with them as a, as a brand per se. This is actually just about the different tactics that a big businesses use, and me kind of deep diving into them and showing how you might be able to do the same thing. So the clocks were changing. Now, this is something that quite literally all of us need to deal with twice a year. We all need to deal with the fact that the clocks are changing. It's always a bit confusing, and lots of businesses like to do a post which reminds people that the clocks are changing, that reminds people, I don't know, so say you had a class on, or say you had, like a lunch booking or something at my restaurant, I would want a little reminder from you to go, remember that, you'll need to turn up at, I don't know, 11 rather than 12 and blah, 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 or make sure you check your phone, etc. And here, they're a brand that like to take the mickey, okay? And you can do the same if you want to, but here, dear all thieves, twice a year we post the same daylight savings post as always. You like to see it. We like not having to come up with a new post. And it reminds people the clocks are changing. It's a classic. Over the years, we've been tagged 3 million times by people who've seen our posts, and they've shared, copied, or butchered it from a design standpoint. So we thought we'd share a few of our favourites with you lot, so you know exactly what we like next time you want to borrow one of our ideas, and the credit is them. Now, this is them taking the mickey. This is them pointing out that every year, I'll show you it, they do a post, and it basically shows you, that it gives you like top tips on how to make sure that that the clocks have gone forward correctly in your house. And they other brands have used it, individual people have used it, and people don't always credit them, and sometimes they do, and they tag them, but they've done it like in a basically, like, to them, they've done it in a substandard job. But really, this is all about engagement. This is them saying, and yes, we posted the original right at the end for anyone who wants to borrow it. So this is them saying, our marketing's better than yours. So let's have a look. So this is how you use someone's work. You keep the brand's name and logo in it, and you leave a little mention in italics. They used an old version, but it's hard to stay mad at an establishing like Ensure My World. So they've given this a 10 out of 10. Innocent Smoothies Guide in the bottom, and they've done the old branding. But, you know, basically it's showing, you know, on a smartphone, you leave it alone, on a digital watch, etc. You get the gist. Here's them saying, this is a classic strolling example we see most often. Someone's taken it upon themselves to redesign our post and make it 547% more boring. They've also removed the credit. Everything else is the same, poor effort. Now, this I loved. This is Mickey taking at its absolute best. This is them going, why did you not just reshare our post? That would have been easier. Instead, you've gone and you've recreated it, and we think you've done a rubbish job. So it's just taken the mickey. It's a bit of a giggle. It made me laugh, this one. The fact that the exact same post ended up on an American fire department's Facebook page isn't actually making us mad. It's quite impressive. So the fact is that it's gone from there. This shows you these things go viral, you know. So if you do want to do content like this and it's already been done, reuse Innocence or reuse someone else's that's already out there, because A, there's no point in reinventing the wheel, which is basically what they're saying. B, it's already good. C, it's getting loads of engagement. And because it's getting engagement, it means that you're going to get more reach and you'll get more engagement by engaging in this post. So the fact that they've been tagged 3 million times over the years about the same post shows you, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Use someone else's content, because that's what it's there for. It's honestly, the mind boggles. And then this is another one that they've got here. These ones have somehow managed to make the design even worse, which is again impressive. The fact that we've seen it stolen so many times, we're now appreciating when someone steals it in a slightly different way, which is quite interesting. The irony of putting their social media tags onto it in case anyone steals or shares without credit. There you go. Also taking the mickey. So you see, and then this was the initial one. So you can see how much that has been butchered by hundreds of different brands, but it just shows you the power of social media. So what I want you to think about is what is coming up, right? So could you do this? And could you turn it on its head for the clocks changing again in a few months, for example? Could this be, you know, where you focus on daylight savings time and say, go on Innocent, we've got your back and we'll reshare this for you, the original, and credit them, because they will engage. This is what's great about them. Look how much they engage with people. That's how we feel about Adam West and Batman. They're replying back to every single person's comment that has gone here. We wonder how many of these were saved as final rather than final.final. The 10 posts down, this in my feed, another rip-off from your, I think they're secretly multiplying. So you can see here, they've responded and to absolutely everything that people have said. People are taking the mickey, people are joining in. People love things like this. It is an amazing marketing tool. They've already done it, so they don't need to reinvent the wheel, and they've spotted that people are out there making rubbish ones, so they've gone, do you know what, let's use this as a marketing thing. So always keep an eye on your tags. So they've been tagged in, so always keep an eye on the tags. Think about what is coming up for the rest of the year, things like daylight savings time, all those other things, what's coming up, and use it. Create content or take someone else's and make sure that you tag them in it, because this is what it's all about. That would drive so much engagement on your profile, and then a big brand like Innocent will engage with it as well. So seriously, it's such a good idea. It's such a good way of basically going, do you know what, actually we do it better, and we're not going to pretend that we don't. Just I love it, love it, love it. Right, we've got loads to get through with these guys. So here, this is what I meant by collaboration. Now, M&S didn't particularly say, like, well, they'll have obviously sanctioned this, right? And this is a collaboration, but they are taking the absolute mickey out of them again. Innocent can get away with this, so I'm not saying that you have to go out there and poke fun at M&S, but they get poked at quite a lot because of the very, very famous court case over a certain caterpillar. So let's go in and have a look. Now everybody knows M&S branding, so it's not just a, I don't know, a chocolate cake. It's an M&S chocolate cake. Everyone knows that. So this is them. They've superimposed this on an outdoor. This is not just a super smoothie. This is an M&S super smoothie, and it's innocent. And they've used M&S's kind of branding. And here they've said, you can now buy our super smoothies from at Marks and Spencer's. So we thought we'd announce it by using their famous slogan as a tribute, because nothing's ever gone wrong with using something belonging to M&S without asking permission first. You can find both our Energize and Invigorate super smoothies in M&S shops. Please buy them. I absolutely love this because it is a collaboration and they're still taking the mickey out of them. They're saying they want people to go down to M&S and to buy these smoothies. And they are still taking the mickey out of Marks and Spencer's because they famously sued for someone having basically, you know, like their same brand, but not quite branding, but you know, a similar character for their cakes. So, and I think everybody heard that, and all the supermarkets got on board. So this is them basically taking the mickey again, poking a little bit of fun, but doing it in quite a gentle way. And I love it. Anybody could do this, right? So the idea of that kind of like big billboard, literally you could find any image of a billboard and then use Canva or something like that and recreate something like that yourself. It could be like, you know, you collaborating with another local business and it makes you look really big because, you know, you're doing it on, you know, as an outdoor ad, if you like. But it's a really good way of capturing people's attention by using someone else's very famous slogan or very famous tagline. And people do it on social media all the time by doing things like song lyrics, for example, using famous song lyrics to kind of drive people to be interested in what you're saying. So they've used a tagline here. So it works on every single level. And obviously what they want to do is they make an announcement. That's what this is all about. So by poking fun at M&S and by tagging them in it, you know, they're inviting M&S to basically take the mickey back if they want to. But really what they're doing is they're telling people to go down and buy their smoothies, and they're literally said, please buy them. And I absolutely love it because people have gotten really into it. Oh geez, settles in for a lengthy court case, someone called Elle Woods. Not even a bend and snap can save us now. Which again, if you know Legally Blonde, that's from, again, a Legally Blonde, but it's them again, just taking the mickey. Yeah, they took Caterpillar Gate really, really well. I don't think you'll have any problems. And then people have just put little images of a caterpillar. An innocent have responded back, Colin. We mean the very hungry caterpillar probably gets quite thirsty too, Layla. So this to me is classic. So this is them understanding their brand, understanding that they can take the mickey a little bit and not take themselves too seriously, but ultimately they're using this big sort of billboard idea to go, woohoo, we're open, we're, you know, ready for business, come down and buy it. So when you have a new product or new service launching, make sure that you can go in with a bang. Make sure that you, whether it's through funny, I always say hit people in the feels or hit them in the funnies. Either make people laugh or evoke some kind of emotion in them, and they'll be much more likely to tag and much more likely to get engaged with your content. And don't reinvent the wheel. You can take something like this and just repurpose it a little bit for your own sake as well. You know, it might be that you're doing, I don't know, gym collaboration. So, you know, I don't know, you're doing a collaboration. I always use the idea of a pub and a florist, you know, could be anything like that. Superimpose it on there and turn it into your own bit of content. But I just love it. I love Innocent. They're so good. Right. Meet the team. So this is all about them meeting the team. So this is about, I say this to brands all the time, make sure that on social media that you are putting the people behind your business to the forefront. People buy from people, whether it is Innocent Smoothies or whether it is, I don't know, you know, the guy making smoothies in the little van round the road or at a festival. Okay, people buy from people and people want to know where who's behind the team, especially a big business. So if you are a business with lots of people, I want to know who's working there. I want to know that you're a brand with integrity. I want to know that you've got authenticity. COVID has changed things for people, so make sure that you are doing this. But anyway, this is a different way of doing it, right? So this is a completely coincidental time to post about our green drinks. Our Abby is really happy with her green drink today. A completely normal Friday with absolutely no secret motive to cash in on a public holiday. Any hashtags that follow are completely coincidental hashtags and Patrick's Day. Okay, so this is two things. This is national campaign. a national day that's been celebrated, and meeting the team. So them showing their team, so showing that real people sit at real desks and do real work behind, you know, this big, huge brand that you see in all the fridges and, you know, in the supermarkets and things like that. I love it. So green drink, obviously for green, St. Patrick's Day. Abby looks very, very happy to be sitting there with her green drink. And so she's obviously not been forced to do that at all, which I absolutely love. What has she got on her computer there? Please buy our drinks. I mean, it's shameless but hilarious. Again, why couldn't you as a business do this? And I don't know whether we've got any restaurants on, but why couldn't you do that? Why couldn't you literally have the chef making something in the background and you've written something up on the board that says, please book today, you know, I don't know, we want to sell more pies, or, you know, you could be a butcher, you could be a nail salon, and it's, you know, like literally you write something on the nails to say that, you know, book now, or I mean, it is so blooming simple, but that's my point. Innocent keep it simple. They keep the idea simple, they keep the message simple, they want you to buy their stuff, so they tell you to buy their stuff, and it's tongue-in-cheek and it's fun. And of course, what they're doing here is they're promoting the fact that they've got these, they've got the green drinks, they've got, and they've used national content, so National St. Patrick's Day, and they're just taking the mickey out of it. It is genius and so simple, and people love it. Please buy our drinks in the background, love it. And then they've written, it's what constitutes as work for us. Drinking your purple drink as I speak. Not quite the right colour, but a sale's a sale. At least your green drink is actually green, unlike your blue one. Don't think you know how to use speech marks, Christoph. Again, I absolutely love it, because they are taking the mickey right back at the people that are taking the mickey out of them. Not every brand can do this, but by putting your people in at the forefront, you're giving it personality, you're giving your brand, your social media a personality. People go onto social media to kind of engage and to get lost in, you know, their little world, and that's exactly what I've done. I've been in Innocent and then come out an hour later going, oh my goodness, you just loving the content. So it's just such a good idea. Amazing. Right. This, so competitions, so they actually did their competitions on Twitter, this one. So again, you'll have seen that I've used quite a lot of Instagram, and that's because they do use all the channels, and they actually post the same thing on all of the channels, but they do tweak them ever so slightly, and they decided to run this as a little competition, and they did it on Twitter. Let's hope this works. Are you going to work, Twitter? So you'll see Innocent Drinks here. So that's what's coming up. And their tag is, sorry, their bio is, we make healthy drinks, please buy them so we don't get fired, right? Classic Innocent. I absolutely love it. So what they've done here is, this is just a little, it's just a daft competition. It's something that, you know, that I would have done at school, you know, like when you've got to guess how many sweets are in the jar at or the tombolas and stuff like that, you know, like it's just a really simple classic thing. They've taken, again, this is about putting their people at the forefront, but doing it as a competition. Guess how many mini eggs are in our Ellie's mouth to win some free drinks. It's really as simple as that. All you have to do is like the post, and then guess how many mini eggs our Ellie can fit in her mouth. So she's got a whole load of mini eggs in her mouth, which is obviously a little nod to Easter. They're saying you can win some free drinks, but they haven't actually bothered really, like they're not really talking about it. You know, it's taking the mickey. They've just thought, let's do this for a bit of a giggle. Any business could do this. Any business could go, I don't know, how many pancakes can they throw up in the air for Pancake Day? How many coffees can they make in 1 minute? How quickly could they braid hair if it's a salon? How quick, you know, it's a challenge. Get people to engage. This is about engagement, and that's what they've done here. So this has 151 retweets, 8 quotes, 809 likes, and 8 bookmarks, and it's been seen 180,000 times. I love this. This is a girl shoving eggs in her mouth, okay? That is what I mean about keeping things simple. So think about challenges. What can you do as a little challenge for your team to do something like this? And what I absolutely loved is don't try this at home. Many eggs are really tasty and obviously the best thing about Easter, but they can also be a choking hazard for our little ones and sometimes grown-ups. So please don't try this at home. Our boss said we can't afford another lawsuit. So they've taken the mickey again, but almost by doing like a kind of safety thing of going, oh, right, okay, we better do this because we might end up sued if somebody, I don't know, like chokes on it when they try the mini egg challenge. And then people have said, you know, things like they've responded back to get to know Ellie, which is, again, that's my whole point about putting your teammate at the front. So I don't know Ellie, maybe you've chosen her because she can dislocate her jaw to eat large food like a snake. So I'll bear that in mind and think 124. And they've replied back going, comparing her to a snake is spot on, Will. So again, they're just taking the mickey out of poor Ellie. So they use every opportunity to reaffirm their brand, reaffirm that, you know, that they are a brand that doesn't like to take things seriously. They can take the mickey out of themselves, they can take the mickey out of other people, but at all points, they're putting their team at the forefront. They are engaging. They always reply back to comments, always. And that's the best way of getting engagement. And ultimately, it's doing exactly this. It's making me talk about them. It's making you think about them. It might make you go and have a look at their social media, which naturally then makes you go, like, that's, you know, when you're choosing which drink you want, you might be more inclined to pick an innocent. That's what social media is for them. It is about constant brand awareness, constantly reaffirming and engaging with people. So when you're thinking about that, thinking about social media, thinking about stuff that's coming up, think about the national days, we'll talk about that in a minute. How can you bring a challenge or something like that, turn it into a little competition? And I mean, they're giving away drinks, but people have just done it for a bit of a giggle. It's so good. This I also really, really, really liked. So this is about an engagement strategy. So what they've wanted is they've got you know, like this was, you know, spring is coming sort of thing, Easter's coming up. Let's, you know, basically, you know, think about all the things that we all know always happens at this time of year, right? That's what this post was all about. And this is actually back onto Facebook. So here we are. Where are we? It's just going to take a little second to load. As you can see, they also did that post out there. Here. So April predictions, there will be pollen. Chocolate eggs will outsell regular eggs. Chocolate bunnies will outsell regular bunnies. We'll go all the way down. People still need jackets. Something on Netflix will take over all conversations. People will say spring cleaning whenever you tidy anything. There will be 20 degrees day where someone gets excited about summer and it will snow the following day. You will find out today is a National Find a Rainbow Day and the daffodils will be everywhere. Now that is just, then they've sat there having a bit of a brainstorm for, you know, what things, what do you associate with April? And then written it all down, just really obvious things. And it's a way of getting people to respond. That's what they want. They want people to respond. They want people to tag in a mate and go, oh my God, you know, everybody knows we all get hay fever. I mean, I'm sniffing just now. Everyone always gets hay fever at this time of year. You know, your mum's always wondering about that, or, you know, so-and-so always talk how many eggs that you get. You will look at 8,000 summer holidays. It's just stuff that people connect with because it's just bog standard day-to-day life. That's what this is. And it's just talking about the season. So why couldn't anybody either reuse this post themselves that's had 2,000 engagements, 169 comments and 382 shares? People have loved this. They've absolutely loved it because it is just you talking about normal. So it could be mum life, dad life, dog mum life. It could be summer's coming and what does that signify to you? Ryanair could do something with this. A restaurant could do something with this. But what does April mean to you? Why, like, what, you know, a bank holiday, all the bank holidays in May, what does that mean to you? That, you know, we're all going to be all over the place, completely out of routine, knackered. You know, those are the things that are all coming up. So how could you do something like this? It's so simple. But look, people have gotten really into it. This is the most British post I've ever read, and it's 1,000% accurate. And people have responded back saying we're here all week, everyone. I had to check 19 now. I'm unhappy as I really need a rainbow. The sun is shining. Obviously, I was happy that the sun was shining. And they've responded back. Look, someone else has responded back with some little rainbows for them to cheer them up. I love a mini egg. Please crush them and turn them into a smoothie. That's next year's Easter post sorted. They've responded back to everything, right? I mean, could this be any more simple? This is what I'm doing, is I'm breaking down how to create super simple content that works, that is about a thing. So far we've had getting your team out there, we've had do a little challenge, we've had use the national days, they're using Easter, they're using April. We've had meeting people where they are, like this is where people are. They're talking about blooming mini eggs and Easter eggs and stuff. It is so simple. It doesn't have to be as complicated as we all make it. Social media can sometimes be a big minefield, and what we're trying to do is break it down to show you this is how people do it. This is how a big business can do it, and this is how you can do it as well. And then finally, so one of the way that I find these posts is by looking at the best post. So I can look at any brand and look at their best post against, say, my best post. And this was their best post of the last week or so. So I just wanted to show you it because this is about knowing your audience. So let's take a look. So we know, obviously, we've just had the Easter break. So there's a lot of people are off. I know I took a couple of days off to be with my daughter and to be with family and things like that. And I've got the luxury to be able to do that. But any retail staff and shift workers, NHS, anything like that, a lot of people can't take time off because actually this is their busiest time. So instead, these guys are a retail business. These guys are, selling in shops and supermarkets and online. They need people at the distribution. They need people to be traveling and putting their drinks into fridges and in vans. They need people at M&S to be selling their stuff. So they've not taken a little nod to say, but of course they've taken the mickey out of them as well, because it wouldn't be innocent if they didn't. So out of respect for all the retail and shift workers, we're not going to post about the fact we now have the next 4 days off. This post doesn't count. So they've marked it off, done the 4 days off. They are taking the absolute mickey, but it is funny. And what they've done is they've taken the mickey in the image, but here they said, thank you for working so we don't have to. And people have loved it. People have absolutely loved it. I genuinely have more respect for you after this post. Thank you. And then they've responded back, oh, you've made our day, Louise. Also teachers who work with adults. And then they've said, adults, what are they like? And then they've written back saying boring, which I just loved. Thanks for thinking of us while the world goes crazy for Easter eggs and something for lunch on Sunday when the people shut for 1 day. Here you go. We see and appreciate you. Oh, at least I have today off. Thanks, I do actually love my retail job, but it's really hard when others are off work, so definitely not fun. And they're saying, look, you're a legend in our eyes, Miss L. I love it. I just love it. They've picked a pocket of people that are, the unsung heroes, if you like, all the people that when we're off and enjoying our bank holiday, these are the ones that are working. And they've gone, actually, we see you, and yes, we've taken the mickey out of you a little bit. It's funny because we wouldn't be innocent if we didn't, but we see you and we applaud you and thank you. Simple. Any business could do this. Any business, especially if you're in the retail trade. It could be that you literally, rather than taking the mickey, that you just go on and say, we just want to thank all of our team for working so hard over these busy bank holidays. It might be that you're busy over, I don't know, like the coronation, for example. It might be that you've got something coming up in the bank holiday May, and you actually want to acknowledge that. Also, it could be that you look at parents, for example. So yes, we might not be working, but as a parent, trust me when I say I did not stop the whole of the Easter weekend because I was busy because I've got a 5-year-old. So it's looking at it the other way around, where whilst we might not be working, we are working. We are all busy. So give a little nod to them. There's so many different ways that you can play this, whether it's personal or whether it's talking to a group of people. But think about it. Think about what is coming up in the near future and how can you get something that really engages people. And that is about niching down and talking about a subsector, if you like, of people. Just, yeah, so good. So with that in mind then, this is our content inspiration calendar. So that is literally a list of all the national days that are coming up over the next, up to the end of the year. And we have put them into little tabs and for each month, so that you can take basically some of this stuff that I've given you guys today, which hopefully some really inspiring ideas, and you can take that and build it into your own content. So here, I'm going to have a look at, I think we've looked at me, but let's look at May, because we can look at further down. Here we go. So this is May, and here is a list of all the national days. So I could take this and think about, right, okay, so Donna talked today about a challenge, right? Let's have a look and see which one we could do as a challenge. What about, let's see, World Donkey Day? It's going to be quite hard to do a challenge on that one, I'm not going to lie. So this is hilarious. So this is National Lost Sock Day. That's on May the 9th. National Lost Sock Day is a special day for mourning all of your lost socks. It's very much an unofficial holiday, but why shouldn't your socks be remembered, right? It is the bane of anyone's existence when you put socks in the washing machine and there's always one that was missing, always, right? Couldn't you do a challenge with your team where they all go for a hunt through all of their drawers and come in with all of their socks, and you just do a little memorial for the ones that are missing? I love that. Or how many odd socks can you find in your house today? We are going to give away a free coffee to the person that responds back quick enough, something like that. You know, this is my point, is that it's a great tool, like, so use it. Eat what you want day, classic. Why wouldn't anybody involved in the restaurant industry, or maybe you're a personal trainer, and actually this is the one day where you get to eat whatever the hell you like. Maybe you could have a feast and talk about how many calories you consumed in that day, or maybe you could completely off-piste and try, you know, almost like your own bush tucker trial, try something completely different. So again, that's my point, is that by looking at these, I'm going, oh, right, okay, well, Innocent did that, so maybe I could do that. Maybe I can get my team out there. Maybe we can do a challenge. Then you've got your other ones, which are things like mental health awareness week. Now that's a serious one. So why couldn't it be that actually each day you share a story, or you support a different mental health charity, or you engage people with some kind of talking point, you know, where, you know, like today we want to talk about, I don't know, how tough it is post-COVID to do X, Y, and Z, or actually that everybody's struggling with money just now, maybe it's financial. Could you offer some top tips? So that's my point, is that all of this is all stuff that, you know, ultimately we've pulled together to make your life easier, and then you can build your content around it. So if you've not already got this, make sure you just let us know, and we will get it sent to you. And we'll always make sure that we put it in our emails as well, because this is what we do. We give you all the tools and support that you need. So remember, we've got training. So we've got our how to use Maybe, we've got our social media basics, we've got our Wednesday with me, ads for beginners, advanced ads, always on training. And then you can schedule in, you can do advertising, you can do reporting, you can learn from any competitor. It's all in one place for you. So key takeaways from me, because I've taught loads, but I just get very animated and excited when I talk about like really good brands on social, because it's so clever. So poke fun at yourself on social media. It's a great way to show your brand has a sense of humour. Work with other businesses and don't be afraid to take some risks. Think about M&S and, you know, the fact that they're working with them, but actually they're taking the mickey out of them a little bit as well. Love that. Put your team at the forefront in social media, because people buy from people. So think about Ellie with the eggs and them joking that she was a snake. Think about the other girl, what's her name? Abby, the other girl, Innocent, who was sort of sitting drinking her green drink on St. Patrick's Day. Just, you know, there's little things you can do, just introducing your team. As I say, people buy from people. And then when you know what sort of content always works, either generate it yourself or borrow it from other people. So borrow Innocent's one, borrow any of the big brand stuff, borrow the, you know, florist from down the road that's doing really well on social, and show, you know, like, I don't know, spring has sprung, no more so than at this local florist. You know, you're just supporting another business. Know your audience and speak to their pain points. Let's go back to the retail workers and thinking about, you know, that how can you think about, you know, all the things that are coming up over the next couple of months, and think, well, how can I speak to a particular sector of my audience? So it's not about speaking to everybody, it's about breaking it down and speaking to a small number. And then just make sure you set up your social media account with Maybe and get started. Just make sure you've connected all your channels. If you've got any questions at all, you literally, there's a little blue magic button, you just click on it and one of us will respond back to you.